I got caught up in the shenanigans of the election and all that was going on in the month of October. So I had intended on coming back to YouTube, back to my channel in October. And I probably like most other people, I got caught up in the shenanigans of the election and all that was going on in the month of October. Usually I don't get wrapped up in the news like that, to be honest, because of the toxicity, the negativity, with the possible light at the end of the tunnel, and then being gut punched at the end of it all, if you will. So I try not to get myself wrapped up in that. Unfortunately, this time I got sewed up, in which is why I did not return in the month of October as intended. But I'm here now, so welcome back. If you haven't been here in a while, my name is Sidelle. My channel is about weight loss, living healthy, lifestyle, if you will, things of that nature. But we will dive into a few other things. Now, per my previous videos, I did mention that my channel was going to change a little bit, and it will, and still is my plan for going forward. It will look a little bit different than what you're seeing now. So some of this will be vlog style, and some of this you're just going to see me in action. So I hope you like it, and I hope you stay tuned for that. But let me share with you what I've been doing and what's been going on in my world. First of all, y'all see I have a new look. She is back with less hair. And it was just time. So this is my first time, just so that you're aware, this is not my first time I've done a big chop. So there was no shock to the system. Hair holds energy like a lot of other things, and it was just time for me to shed some of that energy, along with the fact that I am, as mentioned before in other videos, I am what they refer to as postmenopausal, which has something to do with the reason I was not here. Oh my gosh. So I've been dealing with going through menopause for at least 7 years at this point. I became perimenopausal about 7 years ago. And then once you get past that stage, you're just kind of in menopause, if you will. And then after 365 days, they call you postmenopausal. With that being said, a lot happens as a woman to your body. And I was trying to adjust and navigate, and I was doing well when I first came on the channel. Like, things were going great. They were moving in the right direction, and I was losing weight and I was gaining muscle. And then I feel like full-blown menopause hit me like a ton of bricks. Because all of a sudden, I didn't just have night sweats over this past year. I started having hot flashes during the day, random times of the day, random times of the night. So with that comes a lack of sleep, lack of energy, brain fog, lack of focus, and all that going on while starting a new job, being in a new location, my daughter coming back from Europe, another family member going and living abroad. So there was just like a plethora of things happening at one time over the course of the year. And I was just like, I don't feel like this is a good time for me to pick up the camera, because I want to be providing information that is useful for people, information that is going to help people. And so right now, because this is the phase where I am in my life, I'm going to share what I've learned, things that I've been doing that will get me back on track and hopefully be of some source of information to others who are going through the same thing as well. And men, don't tune out either, because you have women in your life as well. And so you may need to understand what they're going through is a physical change as well as a mental and emotional change, because that loss of estrogen and testosterone that women naturally have, it changes every molecular cell in your body. And so you're not dealing with the same person that you were dealing with previously. You're dealing with this whole other being whose shell on the outside may or may not change. And for me, that changed. Like I said, I was on track. I was eating right. I was working out. And it just got to the point where I couldn't work out. And because I'm in a new place, I'm not able to blend freely like I was, making my own smoothies. It doesn't mean that I can't eat right. I certainly must do that. And there were, in fact, some things that I have removed from my diet to help lessen some of the side effects from menopause. And one of those things was alcohol and sugar. So I haven't completely cut out sugar. Obviously, there is sugar when you're eating food, things that convert into sugar. But as far as like the treats and snacks and cheat days, I'm like, am I gonna enjoy this now or pay for it later? Like, what do I want to do? What is it good for the moment, so I can, not have a good night's rest later? Because those things do bring on hot flashes. They make them more frequent. They make them stronger, as well as alcohol. So I was one of those people who enjoyed a good old glass of wine whenever I had the opportunity at the end of the week to enjoy my wine and wind down. However, alcohol, whether it is spirited alcohol or whether it is wine, they will increase your hot flashes. And I'm like, I am already suffering. I don't need to add fuel to the fire. So I do still occasionally have a drink if I'm out in a social setting, which is really not that frequently. Once a month, maybe, if that, is when I have a beverage. And at that same time I'm having that beverage, I'm also drinking water, because I know, like, I'm going to enjoy it now, but I'm going to pay the piper later. And I'm not interested in that. So those are just some of the things to look out for. Small changes that you can personally make during this great hormonal shift in your life that's going to help the process. Now, of course, you do still want to, because you're losing that estrogen, you're also losing muscle mass. So you want to make sure that you're doing some calisthenics, lightweight training if that works for you, but making sure that you're staying active and flexible is one of the things that I know I seriously have to keep and implement on a daily basis, because for the woman in my family, and I don't know if this is just a genetic thing, I know it happens to all women, like, or a majority of women, you'll gain all this in your midsection, which, nobody wants that. We don't feel good about it. We don't feel attractive, and it's just a nuisance, to be honest. You're like, I'm doing everything that I've done before, but now I have to readjust my life once again to make sure that I'm in the healthiest possible state while my body is going through this transition. With that being said, for me personally, like, synthetic substitutes for my estrogen loss was just not an attractive thought for me. And that's just for me personally, because I like to keep everything very natural. So I do have used things like black cohosh, like essential oils, and lotions that are natural, that have a natural base to it, to help not necessarily replace, but keep my hormones at a good balance, which I have not been very successful at. I will tell you, I will not tell a lie on here. I will not tell a lie, because things that work for one person may not work for another person. And I will say, it hasn't exactly been a cost-effective venture, if you will say. And that depends on your pocketbook. I am a very budget-conscious person, and when I spend my coin, I want to make sure that I am getting return. I need a return on my investment. And so over the past year, I just was struggling. I lost a full 40 pounds and gained that back over the last 3 months. And I'm like, what is going on? So I reached a point where I was pretty frustrated. I was in therapy before, but I'm like consistently have a standing appointment, and everybody should anyway, because of just everything that's happening in the world. If you are struggling in any way, fashion, or form, reach out to a professional, whether it's through your insurance organization or you go online and go through some of the apps that are available. Just make sure that you are having a conversation with someone who's going to help you through tough spots. Because with that being said, I thought I was losing my mind for a moment. I was like, yeah, so how come I'm not remembering like what's happening right now? I am a quick learner, and I was just having issues with remembering small details. And I'm a very detail-oriented person because of my previous career. You have to be detail-oriented, and I prided myself on being very detail-oriented. And part of the effects of going through menopause is that you have, again, a lack of focus and brain fog on top of that. And so it's not that you're going crazy. It is a side effect of that. So it's imperative that you stay on top of and speak with your physician, even if you have to get a naturopathic doctor, or if you find a doctor, specifically one who deals with menopause, because it's more prevalently, is that word prevalently? It's more, I'm gonna use that today, okay? It's more prevalently talked about and openly discussed than it was even heck, 5 years ago, I want to say. If you go back 10 years, it's more talked about than it was before. It's more talked about now than it was before then. And so I have been using different resources to get me through this transition. Again, it's all about, so synthetic medicines kind of mask the situation and don't deal with the root cause. And for me, I always want to go to the root cause, because masking something doesn't help anything. You just putting a band-aid over it, and a band-aid's gonna slip, fall, burn off. Like, it's not gonna last. I want lasting effects because I want to live the most healthiest, productive, balanced life as possible while I'm getting older. And part of that is being mobile, part of that is feeling good, part of that is being in shape, so that I can show up as the best version of me to be of help to you, my friends, my family. So all of that was happening, and I was going through and experiencing all of that over the past year, which is why I have not been on YouTube. But I decided, you know what, after the shock of the election, which we won't, the election results, which I won't dive into on this channel. Like, if there's people in the comments and they have something to say, generally I do comment back to anyone who has left comments, but I won't be partaking in any conversations having to deal with the election results.